Forget to do that. Okay.
Hey, we're recording.
Yay! We're recording. Okay, we are so excited you guys are here. We cannot wait to dive more into coaching with you. And oh wow, you guys like all muted yourselves. It's great. I didn't even have to do it. And I would love to just share our story and our hearts with you on how we found coaching, why we decided we wanted to be coaches, and then how we've made it work for us. So that's kind of the three areas that Elise, Catherine, and I will share with you. And then we will answer any and all of your questions that you guys have about what this is, how it works, all that good stuff. And then when we wrap up question and answers, we'll actually walk you through what it looks like to sign up to be a coach. Because that's kind of one of the more confusing parts. Just, okay, what does this look like for me financially? What is this investment? And how do I go about doing this? So that's kind of all we're going to cover tonight, but we want it to be very based on you and what you want to know. So I will start, and then I will have Catherine and Elise go. My name is Sarah. I know that I already mentioned this to the people who are on here, but for those who are catching the recording, I'm Sarah Deck. I am happily married to an amazing man, and I have two awesome but crazy kids. When I signed up to be a coach, it was 3 years ago next month, which is crazy. I had really struggled with postpartum depression with my son, and I was also in ministry with my husband. So being in ministry, I feel like it was just very, very hard to be honest about what I was going through. So I was feeling really lonely. I was feeling like, what the heck is going on with me? Why do I feel so unattached from my newborn? It's a lot of different feelings, and not being able to really communicate them well, because I felt like I had to be a certain person in ministry and I couldn't actually feel what I was feeling, right? So I definitely had a mask on that was hiding who I was and what I was going through, and just how motherhood was changing me. So when my son was 11 months, I was actually the smallest I had ever been since high school, because I struggled eating. I didn't have healthy eating habits at all. And I specifically remember getting Publix ice cream or chips, and like that being the main food groups that I ate, and counted calories with them. So I would like be up really late at night, eating from a quarter or half a cup of ice cream, and that's probably all that I had that day, and still inputted it into a calorie counter. It was ridiculous. I just didn't know who I was, and I was feeling like I was truly lacking purpose, because I was all over the place and I wanted something for me. And that's kind of where coaching came in. I was staying home with my son at the time, which was a huge blessing, but also very hard when you don't know who you are in motherhood. So I struggled a lot in that area. I signed up to be a coach because a friend of mine lost 30 pounds and then started posting about how she was using her coach earnings to pay for groceries every week. And I was like, I think my husband and I were doing Dave Ramsey at the time. I'm like, this is for me, like, like I want to pay for my groceries so bad, without using our budget at all. And I was like, I don't really have weight to lose, but I'd love to feel better. And I want to say this to everybody on here, that it doesn't matter if you want to coach because you want to lose weight or if you want to coach to feel better. This journey has so much less to do with the size pants you're in, and so much more to do with the mental growth that you have, and the mental growth that you just desire to have as you're in this business. For me, people have never looked at a before and after and said, okay, like I'm gonna do this. They see a before and after, but they also see my mental growth and they say, okay, so seeing that, but also what's happening inside of you is why I want to do this, right? Because when we get to a goal weight, but nothing in our head changes, we don't stick to it. It doesn't become a lifestyle, right? It's like with anything that we grow and go through. So that was kind of my transformation in itself, was that I started feeling more confident, happier. I had a community of people like online that I could talk to about how I couldn't walk down the stairs after I did a workout for the first time in I don't know how many years. I didn't have to go to a gym to do it. And it's crazy how there's this community of people that you can do that with and that feels so close to your heart without having to like go do it, without having to actively like go find a gym or a place to work out. And immediately, I know for me, I'm an introvert, so it was just super helpful to have, oh, okay, like, cool. I have this community of people that I can, talk to without stepping out of my comfort zone in that way. And immediately feeling like, oh gosh, like, what are these people thinking? I don't know. It was just crazy the amount of peace that I felt joining this wellness community. So then the coaching aspect of it was, I was just, okay, like, let me just like tell all of these people about this. And I will say that at first wasn't very good, guys. Not at all. Like, there's still times where, and Catherine can attest to this because Catherine was one of my first challengers and one of my first coaches. And I was like, hey, want to do the 21-day fix? She was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, I have to actually tell you things. Okay, so I want you guys to know that, like, starting out is so trial and error, and that is okay, and there's no perfection in this whatsoever. I think the beauty of this business is trial and error and figuring it out as you go and doing it in a community. Like, I look at Catherine and Elise and how many times we've all had conversations, growing together, growing from each other, growing from the amazing coaches that we have in this community. It's not just us three. It is a huge community with, I am so serious when I say this, endless resources. And it is a blessing because it takes the thought out of your head that says, I have to recreate the wheel to manage and build a business. I just have to be willing to learn. And that was the biggest thing for me. Just being willing to show up for myself and being willing to show up to learn, being willing to show up for the people that I help. And that's it. That is like the bottom line. If that is all you do, you will grow in crazy ways. So I want to give everybody else time. But there's one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys. I recently was invited to go on a trip with Beachbody as a coach. And it was because I had hit certain goals every month last year. And it is a cruise. It's called the Success Club Cruise. So what I love about Beachbody is that there's constantly incentives to making your goals a reality. And I mean, I'm incentive driven at times, but sometimes I'm not. But for a trip that I could bring my husband on or a best friend on or one of my coaches on, like, that to me is incredible. So this goal is called Success Club, and that is helping 3 people a month sign up with a challenge pack, which is all of the tools that you need to be successful. It just has a pretty name because it's put all together in a bundle. So they call it a challenge pack. But it is a month supply of superfood smoothies, year-long workouts on, I was about to say on Netflix. I call it Netflix for workouts. It's not called Netflix. It's called Beachbody On Demand, but it's streaming online workouts for a year and then a nutrition plan, right? So you get 3 people each month and you help them with their goals. You guide them, you talk to them, and you're just there. You're not creating their meal plan. You're not telling them what workouts to do. You're helping them choose the tools that are right for them and showing up with them. That's it. So because I did that for a whole year, I was invited to this trip, right? And I just think that that's part of this business that is so beautiful because there's constantly ways that you are encouraged and uplifted for helping others. It's not just, okay, well, like do this, this, and this, and keep working and keep working and keep working and keep working, and you don't get anywhere. It's like there's constantly, even from your first 3 months as a coach. And I'm going to let Catherine share on that because I could just go on and on and on, but I want to let everybody else share. So I'm going to mute myself, and then Catherine, you can go for it.
Okay, well, hello friends. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how I got started, and I'll touch on a few little logistical things. So I'm Catherine, as she said, and I've been coaching almost 3 years now, even while being a full-time teacher the whole time, and also working several jobs every summer. So I am not the stay-at-home mom as Elise and Sarah. And Sarah has work jobs throughout Beachbody as well, but they're very busy as moms, and I'm very busy in a different way with full-time jobs. So how did I get started with this? I did my first program, which was the 21-Day Fix, and I lost 20 pounds. And as Sarah said, she was the one who invited me to that. I actually did say no 3 times before I said yes. But it really gave me a new healthy outlet for a lot of the anxiety and depression that I actually had before starting. It really helped me to find myself again after giving so much of myself to my new teaching career, because I was about 1.5 years into teaching at that point, which it was also 1.5 years into my marriage. And I was having trouble trying to find something for me and something that would, as teachers say, fill my bucket, while also understanding what my role was as his wife in ministry. And so I lost 20 pounds with this. I could tell that the products really worked. It wasn't a scam. It was well worth my money. And so I believed in the products, and my husband and I had a conversation because I wanted to keep doing the shakes. I thought they really helped me. They really helped curb my cravings. They really helped with a lot of other things that I needed. And so my husband and I had a talk, and he's like, if you want to keep buying these shakes, you're going to have to find a way to help it out with our budget. So that's how I got started. I got started because when you're a coach, you get 25% off anything Beachbody. So that's from apparel to the shakes to the beach bars to products, just everything. You get a discount. So I started for the discount on the shakes, and also because he told me you not only do you need to start because you need the discount on the shakes, I also want you to find a way to make up the money that you're going to be spending on the other 75% of what is not taken off. So I started coaching, and we agreed that I would actually quit if I didn't make enough money to pay for the shakes, and that obviously lit a fire under my butt. And I'm the type of person that wants to go all in for something. And so I signed up. I was actually able to get refunded because for the sign up fee, when you start up with Beachbody, there is a $40 coach sign up fee, but I was able to get it refunded because I had already bought a challenge pack. So husband was good with that. And I actually made enough money to pay for the shakes, and not only that, but became what we call a success starter. And a success starter is when, and I think Sarah might have touched on this a little bit, but if you help 3 people a month with getting them started with either Shakeology that's reoccurring or a challenge pack, if you help 3 people in that way for 3 consecutive months, so I guess it would be like a minimum of 9 people total, you're actually called a success starter, and that's in the first 3 months that you start coaching, and they give you a free ticket to our annual coach conference, which is called Summit. And this was really exciting for me because I've never been before. There's all the top coaches are there, all the trainers are there, you get to work out with the trainers. It's the most inspirational atmosphere you've ever been in. And it was exactly what I needed. And so I got to go to that, and I got to go for free. And that was really awesome because sometimes after I became a coach, although I knew my purpose in it and I knew why I wanted to do it and be successful, sometimes I struggled with the doubt, am I good enough to be a coach? Am I good enough to coach other people in this? I know that I'm a great teacher because I went to college for that. I studied for 4 years, but with coaching, I have no background in fitness. I was like, who am I to tell these people what to do? And how are they going to trust me? But I went to this coach conference, and it totally changed my perspective because everyone there, even the top coaches, were just like me. None of them had a background. Well, I can't say none of them because some of them I'm sure did. I know that some of them came from that, but the majority of them came with no background of fitness. They were just like me. They started this and they knew it worked, and they knew other people needed it. And they also knew that they could create a different life for themselves with it. So they were just regular girls who weren't experts, but they cared about people. And I love people. That's why I'm a teacher. Like, you can't be a teacher and not be a people person, or you can't be a teacher and not love to talk. And so with coaching, it's a lot like teaching because you're telling them how to do something and you're talking to them. And you also have to be willing to do the work. So for me, it just like fit all those parts of who I am and what I love to do. So at that moment when I was at conference at Summit, I knew that if I really wanted to take this business forward and make this into a higher earning income, that I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I knew it would be simple because they give you all the basics of what you need to know. We have amazing trainings. Like our team, I call it like the family tree, but because you always have like someone above you, but the people in our family tree above us are some of the most amazing people in this business for training. There are so many resources that when you start out, you feel like you want to know everything. Well, our team specifically actually has different avenues and ways to help you do that and to feel more confident. So I kind of just threw myself into this. Even while teaching, I knew that I could do this as long as I was willing to give up a small portion of my day. That before I did this, I would probably just been scrolling Facebook anyway, because we all know that we spend way too much time on looking at a screen for no good reason. And we just waste most of our day doing that. But it's not purposeful. It's not something that's going to make us a better person. So I just decided to change my priorities. So coming from there, today, it's pretty amazing looking back, because after looking and thinking about like that original agreement that my husband and I made, today I can say that after almost 3 years of coaching, that there's only been 1 month that I didn't make enough to cover completely my Shakeology. There was 1 month in all 3 years that, life happened and I came up $50 short. But all of the other months out of 3 years, it's more than covered my costs. And what I didn't know back then, but I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason. When I started coaching, not even a month later, my husband made the decision to resign from his church job. And all of a sudden, the main breadwinner of our family wasn't the main breadwinner of our family anymore. And so Beachbody became an essential part of our income overnight. And had I not decided to just do it, I mean, that was never a thought in my mind. I didn't start this thinking, oh, this is a plan B in case my husband doesn't have a job. No, but it became our plan B. It became our backup plan. And this side income paid for things like groceries. It paid for car payments and even rent some months. I could go get my nails done and not feel guilty about it because I knew that there was a way that I was making the money for it. And this was all because I was consistent in working on this business for probably about like a half an hour to an hour a day. And I don't work on Sundays except for doing a call today. So I guess it's an exception. But I usually don't work on Sundays and not much on Saturdays either. So that's essentially my story. I became obsessed with this business because I really love helping other people with this, and I love helping busy people particularly. That's kind of my target audience now, is because I see people who were just like me who thought they didn't have time to be healthy. They didn't have time to do anything for themselves. And I know what it's like to be in that position, and I want to give them hope for knowing that they can. So it's a really rewarding thing to do. I'm not trying to knock any of the other MLM businesses with the makeup and the different stuff. Like, that's all cool. But this is a way to actually change lives, because, I mean, what do you have if you don't have your health? And if you're depressed and have anxiety, I mean, this directly impacts people's quality of life. And to see like the change that occurs in people because of these programs, it's just like nothing. It's like nothing else. It's like as a teacher listening to a kid read for the first time and you have tears in your eyes. It's like, it has the exact same effect. And I can't imagine doing anything else. So this was kind of like the missing piece to my puzzle. It was the outlet that I needed. That was a little different. And I guess the best piece, I wanted to leave y'all with something. And so the best piece of advice I can give to anyone wanting to start this business is don't sell yourself short because you're believing the lies that you're not good enough to be a coach, or you're thinking about like, what will people think of me? Or you don't have time for this, because really, like, this is your life. Like, no one has the right to tell you how to make a living. No one has the right to tell you really anything you're going to do with how you run your life. And there's a quote on one of the teachers' walls that I work with, Miss Hemphill, or not Miss Hemphill, your name is Elizabeth. She's on the call. Hello. Sometimes I forget to call you by your first name. I'm sorry, okay? But it's Miss Carlisle's, and she has this poster on her wall, this teacher, and I think about this every time I'm working on Beachbody coaching, and it's a picture of a dog. Just bear with me here for a second. It's a picture of a dog, and it's like running, and it has like this smile on its face, and the quote on the poster says, "Live life like someone left the gate open." And every time I see that poster, I'm like, that's exactly what Beachbody is for me. Like, I could have told myself I don't have time for this and stay depressed. I could have told myself I can't work out and like be anxious every day. But like, that's not how I want to live. And I just went for it. So the best piece of advice I have is just like, go for it. Because you never know what this is going to become to you. And it's really changed my life. So that's my little piece. And I think Elise is going to talk next. So I'm going to hand it over to her.
Hey. All right. Sorry, I had to pause for a couple times. Having some work done at my house. Anyways, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Elise. I actually just had my 2nd year anniversary for coaching. I have 2 girls. One is 8 months old now. I almost said 7 months old. She's 8 months, almost 9 months old, and the other is 2. So it's been awesome coaching the last 2 years. And truly, to be honest, when I started coaching, I had no intention of actually using it for coaching. I only intended to use it for a discount and then maybe occasionally join in on a challenge group leading it. So to say that it's turned into something more has been really strange, not what I expected. And it seemed kind of like it went with the flow of my personality, but I just didn't have time for it. When I first started, I was in a very vulnerable place in my life. I had gained a lot of weight from my pregnancy. I did not have a healthy pregnancy at all with my first daughter. I ate whatever I wanted. I satisfied every craving, and I just blamed everything on the pregnancy. Like, it's fine. I've been fit my whole life. I can do whatever I want now because I'm pregnant, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're pregnant. And to an extent, I do believe in satisfying pregnant cravings. No problem with that whatsoever. But it was out of hand. It was definitely way more than I needed to be satisfying. So at the time that I decided to join my first challenge group as a challenger, not as a coach, my husband was actually doing 4 months of away rotations, and I had a 4-month-old daughter at home. So I was home by myself, struggling with postpartum depression, feeling like I didn't belong, overweight, what I was used to in my entire life. Really no motivation to get back into weight, but I get back into it to get my shape back. But I knew that I needed to do something because I needed some sort of community somewhere. And Sarah actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me from Southeast. We went to college together, but I was like, girl, yeah, I totally remember you. And I actually asked her if she was a coach, and I asked her for more information because there was something in me that knew I needed something more. I knew I needed something different. I knew I needed something in my life to change. I just didn't know how to get there, and I didn't know what to do. And it was honestly kind of weird reaching out for fitness help from somebody because I was a collegiate athlete. I grew up playing competitive sports. I grew up knowing how to take care of my body as far as health and fitness was concerned. And then I found myself in a place where I almost didn't care, but I knew I had to do something. And when I saw the opportunity, I just knew I had to jump on it. So during that time that I was very vulnerable, I found somebody that was willing to just kind of walk alongside me. And that was what I needed. I was dying for community and to feel like I could get plugged in with somebody. And it just was a really perfect opportunity for me. So I actually didn't even jump in at the beginning of a challenge group because I asked her for information. And then I was like, yeah, not yet. So I jumped in the middle of a challenge group, and then just seeing all of the women pouring into each other and encouraging one another on their journeys, even though they were doing different programs, was just so neat. So where I didn't have immediate community in my city, I found this community online. And so I was able to jump in, and actually I lost all of my baby weight that I was trying to lose. And then after that, I was like, I really need to keep doing this. At that point, actually, I did not have the year of Beachbody On Demand because that was not an option yet. So I bought a set of discs for country music workouts. I've never even liked country music in my entire life. So just to show you how much I knew I needed something in my life, I jumped in on this country music dance workout program. So there was not a super awesome deal where you could work out for a whole year if you bought this challenge pack at the time. So I just jumped in with my country music dance workout, and it was what it was. And then when the year of Beachbody On Demand, Netflix for Workout came out, I jumped on that too. So I saw the benefit in the shake, and I felt the difference that it made in my body. And I just knew that I wanted to keep drinking it. And so I decided that meant that I needed to be a coach. And Sarah was very encouraging. She was like, no, you can totally do this. It can be whatever you want it to be. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And just like Catherine, I was able to get my coach sign-up fee reimbursed because I'd already bought the challenge pack. So that just is also encouraging because if you've already bought a challenge pack and you're like, oh crap, maybe I do want a coach, like you can, and you don't have to totally pay for that sign-up fee. It can be reimbursed to you. So it's definitely more convenient if you sign up as a coach in the beginning because then you don't have to work backwards, but it's still possible. So in addition to that, I saw the potential for somewhere off in the distant future building a business out of it. Although, if I'm being honest, I never really saw myself doing that because I didn't believe that I really could. But I met some awesome women that kept on encouraging me, kept on reaching out. People from our upline that I had never even met in person, just reaching out and pouring into me and just believing in me, saying that they knew that I could do it. So that just goes to show the other part that Sarah was saying, that we have unlimited resources available to us. There are so many women and so many coaches above us. They're not all women, but I mean, for the most part, I'd say the people that reach out to you are most likely women. But they like want to see you succeed. And it's not even like a competitive thing. Sarah and Catherine and I all have a lot of mutual friends from college, and we find each other often like, oh, I talked to that person before, but they jumped in with the other coach. And to be honest, like, that's great, because lives are still being changed, and that's what matters. So I was able to find joy in sharing my story with people and finding freedom in being able to share that. And I didn't know how to do that before. I felt kind of trapped in my body after I had my baby. So it was just like an outlet for me to be able to really find who I was, and then be able to encourage other women in finding who they are in the midst of that part too. So something that was really neat is that after I started coaching, I found out that I was pregnant. And so I had the encouragement and accountability behind me to know that this pregnancy could be different, and I could do it the right way, and I could still satisfy cravings, but I didn't have to go all out, and I could have a better relationship with food, and I could still take care of my body and still be healthy and fit and strong, even though I was growing a human. And so I got a lot of encouragement to share my story and share my journey as I was going. So that's just part of how it's changed my life. To be honest, every single month I have not been all in on it. And the months that I haven't been all in, it's just, it's paid for some groceries, it's paid for some things here and there. But the beauty of this business is it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be as big as you want to be, or as small as getting a discount. And that's been something that was really encouraging for me, because on the months that I was really struggling, and the months that I had just had a baby and not trying to do any work, I was able to just sit back, because there were no minimum sales required, like some other MLM companies have you do. So that was just really encouraging to me. And I kind of mentioned this before, but it just gives me the opportunity to reach out to other women that are kind of in the same place on their journey. They've just had a baby, or they're finding themselves working like crazy, and they don't know, where to find themselves, where they fit in. They're looking for community, looking for friendship. And I get to share my journey, and I get to share my story with them. So it's really connected me with so many more women in similar stages than I ever could have imagined. And then when my husband got his residency match after he graduated from school, I was moving again. So I was like, great, there goes my community that I had just finally built up and plugged myself into. So I had this natural community that just kind of came with me before I met people in person. And that really helped me bridge that gap, because I am definitely an extrovert, but I was really struggling to find friends because I was also struggling postpartum depression again after I had my second daughter. So just to have that community that was already there before I had the confidence and the comfortability to leave my home and meet new people was super, super helpful. So coaching has also made me start focusing more on me and my personal development, because one of the big things that coaches are encouraged to do is to pour into themselves. So that means like constantly doing something to better yourself, whether it's from a book or hearing a podcast, something that betters you. And I'd never really thought to do anything like that before, which is like kind of crazy, because the most important thing to do is to fill your own cup so that you can pour into other people. So anyways, just to give you a little glimpse on how my coaching journey has gone, most recently in my coaching world, I've really started buckling down and getting a lot more consistent with the way that I share my story. And if you follow me, know that I am a recovering people pleaser. I struggle so much with caring about what other people think, but being part of this coaching team and having this coaching experience in my life has really made me care a little bit less, to be honest. Also, being honest, sometimes it's a struggle, but then I just fall back on that community that's like, no girl, you got this. And I send posts to people all the time like, hey, you need to check this out, because I don't actually want to post it, but I think I need to post it. And then Sarah is a sounding board for me a lot of times. She's like, no girl, you post that. Change this a little bit, change it. You got it. Okay, post it. So it's super helpful because we have each other to bounce ideas off of, and there's not competition between each other. Like, it's like, okay, awesome, let's help each other. And I think that's just like super cool. But I just recently finished the first heavy lifting program I've ever done because I was of the belief that girls shouldn't lift heavy weights, but it's so not true. And I was so encouraged by it because I was doing it at the same time as some other women, and they were looking to me because I was their coach, like, hey, are you still doing it? And it was the first program that I've ever done exactly as the program calendar intended from day one until the very end. So it was really, really encouraging to walk beside some of the people that were doing it with me to encourage them while we were doing that same workout program together. So coaching, all in all, has been a huge encouragement, and it's not an easy sign me up and take this quick payday because it's work. You do have to work, but it's simple work. It's not anything that, somebody couldn't do. Like, anybody can do this, and that's why it's so awesome. Anybody can learn the fundamentals of just like inviting people, think about how you got to this call right now, whether you're watching the recording or you're here on it live. You got it because you just had a simple conversation with somebody who from the get-go believed that you could do it. So that's really where it starts. And I want you guys to know that there is an overwhelming amount of support available to you at your fingertips because everybody that's part of this community wants to see you succeed. And that's all I have for you.
That was amazing. Thank you guys so much for sharing. It was so helpful. One of the things that I love is that everyone's story looks so different with coaching, and it really is like creating. Sorry, I just got like a weird notification from my husband's computer, and I'm not used to that sound because I've never used his computer. It really is something that I always come back to, and something that I feel like I've constantly been reminded of on my relationship with coaching, with the people I do this with, and with Jesus is this is my God dream being lived out. And Beachbody is not the God dream. Beachbody is the avenue that God used to let me live out my God dream. And that is unlike any other person's dream being lived out. And I feel like that's so true for Catherine and Elise as well. Like, it's like we are living out this passion inside of us, and God used Beachbody to make it happen, right? And we all learn the same principles, and we walk them out a little bit differently because our personalities are different, but then we come together and we see the same things, which is our lives changing, our families changing, and then other people's lives changing. So it's just such a cool thing because it really is creating what you see and envision for your life that looks like anybody else, and just using that avenue. So I would love to hear from you guys. Everyone, if you just want to unmute yourself when you have a question, or I can unmute you, but Michelle or Elizabeth, if you have a question, we would love to answer them. I don't want to put you on the spot, but just unmute yourself if you have a question for us.
And it might also be good because a lot of people are going to be watching the recording of this. Not everyone could make it live. So some people are going to be watching the recording later. And if you have questions, they might have like the same question, but weren't here to ask it. So you want to know something, just go for it. I know we didn't go over a ton of logistics stuff, but do you guys have any questions?
I was wondering, how many days a week do you ladies like typically work out now that you're like consistently coaches and have been doing it for a while?
I'll go ahead and answer this one.
Yeah.
It really depends on the season, to be completely honest with you. There are different programs require a different amount of days. Like the lift program that Elise just did, that's 4 days a week, and it's about 30 to 40 minutes a day. So of those 4 days. So it doesn't have to look the same for everybody. I know that I kind of, because I'm a teacher, and as the school year started, you get bombarded by all these things, and I kind of went back down to like around 4 days a week. But in the other seasons, sometimes it's, 5 days a week or 6 days a week. So it's basically whatever you want to make it. Some coaches do 2B Mindset, which is a nutrition-based program. So some coaches, believe it or not, don't work out that much at all because they believe that there are just multiple avenues of helping people. And some people, the nutrition mindset works for them and they don't work out that much. They might be a runner or whatnot. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, with the nutrition program, I did that from May to July and worked out maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but I just used Beachbody On Demand and I picked random workouts, and I lost 15 pounds. So what's really cool, and this is kind of so when we talk about the family tree, the people above us in our family tree, we're very like wellness community based. We're not like fitness. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like constantly like I'm doing T25 right now and that's super intense, but there's an optional 6th day. I'm not there for that. You know, like I'm good with 5. So it doesn't, that
Great.
doesn't really, you know, like just to give you that freedom a little bit and that like sigh of relief, you know, like it's not a thing, you know, like it's definitely good to follow programs and stuff like that, but it's not like, okay, well, when you have a rest day, you still have to do a workout, you know, like it's not.
Yeah.
We're not
I'll just add in too, like we're very much about leading with integrity. So like if you say that you're following a program, you follow it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that like you can't have, you know, things come up in your life where you have to switch your day or just take an extra rest day because life happens. But if you're like saying that you're working out that day, like you just work out that day, you know? So like for me doing the Lift and Hit program I just finished, like that was the best thing for this season in my life because it was 4 days of workouts and I could commit to 4 days of workouts. Some of them have 6 days of workouts and it's like not everybody can commit to all 6 days and that's fine. We just like, you know, you're never going to hear some of us selling products that we don't use because that's not how we function, you know? Like for me personally, the example I always use is Hydrate. Like Hydrate's a great product. I can give you the facts about it, but it's not something that I'm personally using right now. So I'm not going to be like, you need to buy Hydrate because that would not be leading with integrity. So the same thing goes for like workout programs. You know, if you're following a workout program, then you just share how you're following the workout program.
Do either of you have any other questions? I don't want to force you to ask questions because I can come up with questions to ask Catherine and Elise too, so that'll be fun.
I have one other question. I don't know if you guys know this off the top of your head, but I'm allergic to gluten. I know that Shakeology is vegan, but do you know if it's gluten-free?
I just answered this question, but I'm going to answer it and then let you guys also add, just for clarification on my end. But I have a friend who, do you know Carly Andrews?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
So Carly's also allergic to gluten. So she actually just got vegan Shakeology. She hasn't had it yet. But for different people, it's like, it depends. Like there are some people who I know who have had gluten allergies who have tried it and like been fine with it, like loved it. It didn't bother them at all. There are other people that have had issues. So it really, like my answer is it depends, but also that the team of people who make Shakeology are very committed to making it like the purest and best ingredients. And a lot of people who do have difficulty is because like maybe a particle somewhere else in the facility like damaged that bag. Does that make sense? Like, and I know that that's so crazy to say, but when you are in a facility that has those things, even if it's on like the 3rd floor and you're on the 1st, you know, like anything could happen.
Yeah.
So,
right. That's what I was going to add is that it's gluten-free, but there is gluten present in the facility where it's made.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's why it's not like certified gluten-free.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the other reason why it's not certified is because they're getting it from indigenous countries. That for the same reason why it's not organic certified, is the same reason I think it's not gluten certified, is because they're getting it from these farmers that they find in these indigenous countries, and they're trying to find the ingredient in the most purest form, but some of the farmers can't afford to do the certain testing they need to do on like the soil there or whatnot.
Okay.
Make it certified organic and certified gluten-free, but as they said, there is no gluten ingredient like put into it. So like they said, it really depends on the level of your allergy to gluten.
But so that's something that Carly is trying out. I know that I'm going to tell her later. I used you as an example in this call, but that's what's nice about buying Beachbody products is that there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you got a challenge pack and you did have a reaction, and it's a bottom of the bag guarantee too, so it's like, okay, I try it a few times, they're not expecting you to send the whole bag back, you can be halfway through and suddenly realize, oh crap, okay, I do have something happening. So that's really nice. And then you call up customer service, they'll take care of it. I even had a friend who did not have any idea what happened. She ended up having a parasite actually, which is crazy. She went to Hawaii and Shakeology was messing with her after 3 months of having it. And customer service actually said, hey, why don't you try this instead? And they swapped. They didn't make her pay for another product. Because we have another shake that are mainly for kids, but I've used it too because my son has it, called Daily Sunshine. And it just has a lot less ingredients. So it's more of a snack type shake, but they exchanged it and gave it to her for free. Didn't ask her to pay for it. It was just hey, try this out and see how it helps you. So customer service is super, super good about making sure that they treat you well. And it's not okay, well, you bought something and well, it's your fault, so it's very good. It's just really nice to have that. And then if anything ever did happen with customer service, you could be like, hey coach, call customer service. I've called customer service for listen, you can't do this. This is not nice. So yeah, that's what's nice too, that 30-day money back guarantee. That's actually what got me to sign up, because I was like, okay, well, if I don't use it, I'm getting my money back, So.
And out of hundreds of people that I've sold challenge packs to, I don't think I've ever had a single person return it. The only thing I've had is someone exchange a flavor. Yeah. But
Same.
Definitely a high happy customer rate.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was going to say, I was like, Elizabeth, do you have a question?
No, I don't have a question right now, but I know where to hit you up, Catherine.
Yeah, she works right next door to me, so we share a wall. And some children.
Yay.
Yeah.
What was I? Oh, sorry. There was a question that I just had in my head that I was going to ask Catherine and Elise, and now I forget. I think what it was, I'm going to go from the perspective of asking questions just so people can follow a little bit more when they watch the recording. But what are your guys' thoughts on how do you run your business week by week? So how much time a day do you spend on your business, and what are some of the things that you do? Not really. So how much time do you spend a day on your business, and what are things that you make sure you do even when your schedule is super busy? So I know that in the coaching world, we call these non-negotiables. So there are things that we're okay, these are things I'm going to do week by week. And then there's some things that, okay, I won't focus on them as much this week because it's crazy busy. But what does that look like for you guys?
I think it's different depending on the season. Like I shared in part of my story is that there are months that I was like super consistent and super like, okay, I'm in it this month. And those months, I spent a lot more time on it than other months. But currently kind of what it looks like is during nap times and after bedtime, I spend 30 minutes to an hour each time, either sending messages or responding to messages that people have sent me. Something I do every single day is I do personal development, which most times is reading a portion of a book. Sorry, my daughter just fell down. Reading a portion of a book that has something to do with leadership or just any kind of personal development, really. And then I have my shake every day. And then if it's a workout day, I do my workout. But I'd say those are the main things that I do every single day or every single week in my coaching life. And then something else that I do is I've been trying to stay super consistent on social media, specifically Instagram. So I'll do at least one post a day. Sometimes that's 2 posts a day, but the majority of the time it's 1 post a day.
Thank you, Mama. Please. Your daughter is so cute. So for me, it looks pretty different because I have a full-time job. Elizabeth knows some days we work from 7 to 7, literally. And so I never thought I would be a morning person because I'm still really not. But I found that I like having the ability to control the outcome. And I don't want there to be something that happens later in the day that makes me have to stay late and work. And then I miss what I wanted to get done that day for my business. I know that I am running my business to create this into a full-time income. So I'm trying to transition from part-time to full-time. So I work on this business about half an hour to an hour a day. I try to get about an hour a day in. I wake up and give myself at least 45 minutes to work on the business before I go to work. And so, and typical things that I make sure that I get in, like if I'm super strapped for time, like I woke up late or I didn't sleep at all that night because something kept me up and I have literally 20 minutes, I'm probably just messaging people. I'm checking my messages for people that were interested. I am responding to people and I'm taking some time to invite people. And it's like a quick message that I send out to people who follow me on Instagram. And so I make time to do that. But my daily, like everyday routine goes like I wake up and I get ready for work first, and then I go downstairs where my kitchen is, and while I'm actually packing my lunchbox and doing other things to get ready for the day, I am listening to a professional development audiobook because I don't have a lot. I like to, at night before I go to bed, I read books that are professional development in a different way, like marriage books or devotionals. And in the morning, I do things that are business related. So right now I'm listening to a book called Relentless. The author is the trainer who trained Michael Jordan and Kobe and different people. And so like, it's very, it's more business related. And so I listen to that for about 10 minutes. Then when I have everything ready for school, I go upstairs and sit at my desk, and I check messages first, and then I send messages out. For me, the people that I'm looking for are people that I can relate to the best, which are busy people, because I know I can help them, and that's kind of where my heart is in this business. So I send out messages to people that are either following me on social media because I'm a teacher, and I ask them if they would want to join. And before I ask them to join, though, I usually build a relationship with them because I don't really like to come out of nowhere, and it kind of makes you look pretty fake when you're just like, here, buy my stuff. And so I want to get to know them first. And so you have to have the right heart about it because weight and losing weight is a pretty emotional, personal thing. And so if people are going to trust you, they need to get to know your heart first. and you need to get to know them too to figure out what would be best for them and how to help them. So sometimes on like Instagram, I'll go see like I'll find other teachers on Instagram and I'll message them about something they posted. I'll go into Facebook groups of like teacher Facebook groups, and if somebody has a question that they posted in the teacher Facebook group, I'll message them and help them with their problem. So, and then I'll start a conversation with them. So in the morning, I start conversations with new people, and then I'm turning back and inviting those people that I had previous conversations with. And I also, like Elise said, I try to post on social media. I will admit, though, if I'm busy, that's probably the first thing that goes. And you
Definitely.
you want to keep up somewhat of a social media presence, because that's how people know what you do. And that's how people are going to know who to come to if they need help with this. And I want them to know that I am staying consistent with this. I'm in this for the long haul. This was not something that I did for a quick second and then was like, oh, it didn't work. Like, I want them to know, like, no, I'm still working on this. Like, I'm still here for you if you need me. So that's why I try to continue, even if I'm having a busy week, a couple times that week, my posts, you're going to see something about working out. You're going to see something about Beachbody, because I want people to know that this still works and I can still help them with this. So those are the main things I do. I make sure I get my shake in at night. But like I said, it's simple. The routine is really easy to fine tune if you work at it and you're willing to try new things. Same thing doesn't work for everyone, but you can get to a point where it's like a well-oiled machine. And if you just keep being consistent, you will see success, but you have to be consistent. I use a tracker. I track my daily activities by just checking them off, so I can look back and see the times when I wasn't making the money I wanted to. I was like, well, that's because girl didn't do no work. And so, like, if you don't do the work, you're not going to get the progress that you want. Mm-hmm. But really, it's not like I've sat down for 3 hours a day. It's incredible. Like, a little will go a long way. Consistent. So
perfect. Yeah. Thank you, ladies, for answering my question. So I really quick, I make a list of goals that I want to achieve that week, as far as like how many people do I want to connect with, how many workouts do I want to do, if I'm not following a workout calendar, but I have like a number goal for everything. And then if I knock it all out at the beginning of the week, then I take the rest of the week easy and just do, like, I check into my groups with my people every day. I make sure that my nutrition is on point every day. I drink my shake every day. I do personal development every day. Like, those are my things that I do. But if I get the bulk of my work done at the beginning of the week, then the rest of the week is chill. I didn't do that this week. So today I was working, but it was like a bigger Sunday, but with this anyway, I was okay with that. But then tomorrow, like, I'll take it easy. So I've kind of created that flow with our life, right now in the season, and that's what I do. So it's awesome to see how different everybody can make it happen. Like, it's not about what it looks like every day. It could be different every day, like, it just depends on your life and your season. So, and last thing I want to cover, because it is 9, I don't want to keep you guys late, is quickly just how you would sign up to be a coach. So the financial investment, normally, I think what we all invested was $160. And that is without the coaching fee, because the coaching fee is waived when you sign up. So that is if you decide to get Shakeology, portion control containers, which is our like nutrition plan, and a year worth of workouts. You can sign up to be a coach for $40, and that's it. But the biggest thing that I think we've learned from coaching is that you want to be proof that the products work. And if you just sign up for $40 and have no products, nobody is going to know what to ask you about, because you personally don't know anything about it. Does that make sense? So you want to be proof the products work. So it's probably 160 to 180, I think is the lowest that you would invest in your business to sign up and have products you could tell people about. You could spend more depending on what you get. Like there are packages that you could get that
Like
have
$400.
like $400. You get like everything Beachbody has to offer. It's insane. And so it's like, it really depends on you, you know, like there are people who do that and they're like, look at all these things. And then there are people like the three of us who are like, I have this one shake, you know, like, and for a long
Really
time,
good.
for the longest time, that's kind of what Catherine, Elise, and I did. And then, you know, like as we were able to fit more into our budget because of coaching earnings or, you know, try more things out, then we added things that we could talk about. And that didn't hinder us though. Like I feel like, you know, just having those few tools is really the base. It's not like you have to go and buy like $400 worth of stuff to start a business. And I think that's what's really cool. So that's the minimum. And then every month Shakeology as a coach is $115 a month. So that is with your coaching fee. So there's a business fee every month that's $15. And that is just because a lot of other MLMs, you get products sent to you and then you send them out. We don't do that. So you actually have a website that you can just put someone's email and information in and then send them a link via email. And then they order and Beachbody sends everything to their house. So that $15 business fee takes care of all of that legwork that you don't have to worry about. And then Shakeology is $90 with your 25% off discount. So, right? 90? Yeah. No.
Like 96,
99.
97.
I'm sorry. 97? 97. I'm clearly awake right now. I'm sorry. So that's what that looks like for me. I covered that my first month and have since becoming a coach. Kind of having that goal of helping 3 people a month is really helpful because then it's kind of just, okay, well, like if I do this, then Shakeology is covered, and then I could double that next month because if everybody else loves Shakeology as much as me, then they order again, and then I have 3 new people. So you could like literally double your income by your second month and cover Shakeology. And you know, that doesn't always happen. There are people who just want Shakeology for a month or a few months and then they don't want it. But the more you get used to sharing your story and your heart and figuring out a groove that works for you in your business, you know, the more you'll just kind of see everything. We call it the compound effect. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that book, but it's like as soon, you know, like it's slow and slow, but the more consistent that you are and the more you do it, then it'll kind of just snowball into these amazing results of being able to help people and just making those financial goals, but also just your personal goals and seeing other people's personal goals achieved. So I don't want to keep you guys any longer, but I wanted to just give you guys that initial investment, kind of tell you all of the details. We are really big on being integrity filled on our team. So that's why we give you all of the numbers and kind of show you what that looks like, because we're not going to stand here and say, you spend this, you're going to get this back, or it's only $40, because I would never want to make you invest $40 and then not have anybody come alongside you because you don't know about the products. You know?
Yeah, because the thing is, if you spend $40 and you sign up as a coach that way, then you're going to find any more things. So then you purchase Beachbody On Demand, or then you purchase a shake. And at that point, you've actually spent a lot more money. So you're saving money in the long run if you want to coach well by getting a challenge pack so that you can immediately leap from that front.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to stop recording.